there they are. We see a lot of those familiar faces. Captain Andre Rampersad coming back into the squad, the Halifax Wanderers man. Another familiar face that has returned into the starting 11. Number 22, Denzel Smith. Of course, Trinidad and Tobago coming off the back of a 5-0 defeat to South Korea in Utah last week. Jabari Bryce and Tishon Ragu were used in that one. The Russians, of course, coming into this one with a bit more confidence. 3-0 victory over Burkina Faso in their last outing. So, contrasting form for both teams coming into the action here. Denzel Smith just organizing something. I think it was some training equipment that might have been left on the pitch before the warm-up. And we are off here in Kaliningrad. It's Russia versus Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago getting things kicked off here in this international friendly. Of course, the Rostec Arena here in Kaliningrad, 35,000 capacity, as I said earlier, does have a lot of history as well. We do know that Russia hosted the FIFA Men's World Cup in 2018, and this venue did host 4 of those matches as well. None of them had the Russian team play on them. It still was definitely a fixture in the 2018 World Cup, a World Cup that saw Russia do really well, reaching the quarterfinals, defeating the likes of Spain, and of course eventually going out to the finalists, Croatia, who beat them on penalties. There's the head coach, Valery Karpin of Russia. As I mentioned, very experienced head coach and player as well, in for teams such as Valencia, Celta Vigo and Real Sociedad in his playing career himself. So as I mentioned, it is really a good experience for a lot of our players to get some high-level action. Russia haven't been on the scene as of late, but still a very, very quality league. And immediately we see the Russians trying to get on the front foot. Kripstov gets the ball in, and it's well defended. Rampersad is back, and he does well. Captain's duty. Early on, the Russians showing signs of their quality. Kyle Thomas with that clearance out. Most Trinidad and Tobago fans wouldn't be accustomed seeing Kyle Thomas playing out on the right back. Normally see him in those attacking positions, the Corpus Christi man. Corpus Christi FC, club where Kyle Thomas plays his football over in the United States. But he's out on the right back today. No Rio Cardines, no Darren Payne in the squad for today. So it was always a question of who would start out on that right back position for Trinidad and Tobago. But here's Kyle Thomas. He's been involved early on and he's done well there. And Poonan Jaron, Malik Khan. Trinidad and Tobago moving the ball very nicely here. Here's Poonan Jaron to Rampersad. Oh, and that's a poor giveaway there from Herbert, and this could be problems here. But he recovers well. Anthony Herbert, another player who might not have seen in the recent past, especially under the Dwight York reign or early on in the Derek King one as well. Recently added into the squad. Plays his football out in the US as well for Indy 11. Nearly cost his country there, but recovered really well. There's the man in charge of Trinidad and Tobago, none other than Derek King, in his second match as permanent head coach for the men's team. The first one didn't go too well. That 5-0 defeat to South Korea over in Utah. So he'll be hoping that he has some better fortunes today, as we see a very comical error there from Beveev. Unlucky. It is rainy in Kaliningrad. And we are all human. But Kyle Thomas shows Beveev how to take a throw in there. The Russians just keeping possession. No teams really having any big chances just as yet. We're only into the 4th minute of action. The Russians do look the more likely, it has to be said. That's a decent looking ball, but very well defended by Justin Garcia, better known as Shiggy. He's in Trinidad and Tobago, of course, plays his football in Vietnam now. Russians trying to build something here. For Kanya, that's good play, and it's a lovely ball through. Oh, and what a save there from Denzel Smith. It was a quick and silky move from the Russians. I think it was Sergeyev who got the final shot, but that's a brilliant save from the Trinidad and Tobago number 22. That's a lovely ball through. And yeah, it was Miranchuk who just peeled off, found that ball inside. Sergeyev with a good strike, got good contact, and it has to be said, that's a world-class save from Smith. Russians still on the prowl here. Here's Miranchuk. Another decent-looking ball. Headed away nicely by the experienced Ryan Telfer and cleared further by Cain Thomas. Scary moment there for Trinidad and Tobago, but Denzel Smith, regarded by many as the best goalkeeper in Trinidad and Tobago right now. And I guess that's one of the reasons why most people say that was a world-class save from the number 22. But here's Miranchuk. Russia have their tails up. Playing the ball nicely across the wet surface. That's definitely going to be a factor today. I wouldn't be surprised if the wet surface causes some sort of mistake. Could be for either team. Goalkeepers will have to be wary. Denzel Smith has started well though. Lovely ball. Of course, the Russians will be accustomed to these pitch conditions themselves. Here's Miranchuk. He's been involved lately. Lovely ball through as well. Squared across. Oh, and this could be problems. And Denzel Smith, not sure if he knew too much about this one, but makes another crucial save. And I'll tell you what, the Russians are getting closer and closer. How about that for a ball from Miranchuk? And it was just dinked across from Sadulev. And again, Sergeyev tried to be cheeky, just dinking it, and it comes off the face of Denzel Smith. Beveyev was asking, why didn't you put it for me? Ball swung in, headed away. Here's Beveyev on top, has a strike. And and this time it sneaks in. And you have to think that that was coming. Beveyev was complaining for not receiving the ball earlier on and takes matters into his own feet and strikes it with purity past Denzel Smith. And the Rostec Arena will be absolutely pleased with that one. And anybody who was watching the game saw that coming. It's a corner, it's well cleared away, it's Rampasad, but nobody really closing down Beveyev, the right back. And that's a tough one for Denzel Smith. One he should have saved, a man of his quality, but it was coming through bodies. And again, the wet surface just causing that ball to kind of skid even more than it normally would. Look at that, got a hand to it, just wasn't convincing enough, and he'll be disappointed with himself, Denzel Smith, because that was his near post, and you know how keepers feel about that. But nevertheless, it's 1-0, and it is Beveyev who has given Russia the lead in the 7th minute of play here in Kaliningrad. Definitely not the start that Derek King would have wanted. And definitely is the start that Carpin would have wanted. Trinidad and Tobago looking a bit rattled right now. The Russians really have them where they want them. Punanjaran committing the foul there on Sergeyev. Another opportunity here for the Russians to put some pressure on the Trinidad and Tobago defense. It was a corner that led to the first goal. It is Batrakov and Miranchuk standing over this one for Russia, of course. Alexei Miranchuk plays his football in the MLS himself. Atlanta United. Let's see what the Russians can serve up with this set piece. Denzel Smith looks focused. He's not going to want to concede anymore. Surely he's not going to go to goal from there. Miranchuk thinks it over. Lots of space again. Denzel Smith with another massive save. And again, Trinidad and Tobago's defense looking very exposed. It was a simple ball over the top from Miranchuk. Just allowed Krivstov to sneak in behind and this time Denzel Smith is not beaten by his near post. Russia come again, a lovely ball through again. This time Raymond is back. Does the defensive hook, strike comes in. That one is never troubling Denzel Smith. But look at that, just a simple dink over the top, really. Lovely run from Krivstov. Probably didn't get the contact that he wanted, but Denzel Smith did really well there. Ryan Telfer, one of the more experienced players in this Trinidad and Tobago setup, also plays his football in Canada, Halifax Wanderers. It's times like these where the younger players will be looking to the more experienced players in the camp just to settle the team and look at their body language, see how they've responded to conceding so early on. The beauty about conceding early on for the team that is trailing is that you have so much time to grow back into the game. Derek King is going to have to reassure his troops, let them know that this one isn't over as yet. It's a good interception. There's Raymond. Andrew Raymond driving at that Russian defense. Maintains possession. It's good play from Raymond. Daniel Phillips. All the way back to Garcia. It goes all the way back to Denzel Smith. Trinidad and Tobago need a spell of possession here just to grow into this game. Really haven't had anything. Russians have been playing all the football so far. They look confident doing it as well. Here's Krivstov. Plays it out wide to Vakania. That's a decent looking ball and it's well intercepted by Andre Rampasad. He's been back doing the defensive duties as a captain should. Rion Moore working hard but unable to win the throw-in for his nation. Russian defense have been pretty untroubled so far. It's been a pretty comfortable performance in these opening 11.5 minutes. This man has been involved, Sergeyev. That's good work from Phillips. He holds possession well, but immediately surrounded by 4 red jerseys. It's the intensity of this Russian team, ranked 36 on the FIFA rankings. Trinidad and Tobago ranked 102nd, so a massive gap between the two teams. As we mentioned, though we haven't seen Russia on the football scene as much as we would have, they are a very serious, well-drilled team, the Russians. Of course, one man who would know that is none other than Levi Garcia. Does play his football out in the Russian league, Spartak Moscow. Not in the squad today, but he'll definitely be accustomed to these conditions here in Russia, and some of the players as well. Here's Miranchuk, can't get past Raymond. Raymond can't get past Miranchuk, but draws the foul. And it's good work. It's been a good start for Miranchuk. He's been really involved for the Russians. Andre Raymond has grown into it. They have been attacking that right-hand side. Russian fans looking pretty comfortable, pretty composed so far. Denzel Smith again has pulled off some massive saves so far, but one moment where he faltered has led to the one goal that Russia have scored. Not to take away, of course, from the strike. It was a brilliant strike from Baviev, but you really think that it's probably the rain and the wet surface that caused Denzel Smith to be beaten by that strike. Here's Phillips. Slices that one. Might get away with it as well. King Thomas retrieves nicely. He's had a good start to the game himself, out on that right back position. Players slipping as expected in these sort of conditions. Batrakov. He is on the ball again, the man from Lokomotiv Moscow. So he plays his club football, of course. Of course, Lokomotiv finishing 3rd in the Russian league this season. Zenit champions of the Russian league. Here he is again, Bachakov. Driving run from Alexander from the centre-back position. A decent ball as well. Russia really doing well. And couldn't get the contact. Strike comes in. And 2-0, the Russians lead. And good work from Sergeyev. Heading it back. And another volleyed finish past Denzel Smith has the Russians 2-0 up in the 15th minute. And Kaliningrad go wild. Denzel Smith, I mean, this one, you have to have a bit of sympathy for him. Not much he could have really done about it. The fans love it. And it was a brilliant finish as well. I think it was actually Alexander who ran forward from the centre-back position who scored the goal. So that's actually some excellent work. Once again, it's Miranchuk getting that header across. Sergeyev just keeping it alive. And it is definitely Alexander with a lovely volleyed finish into the bottom left-hand corner. Definitely rewarded for his efforts, and yeah, not much Denzel Smith could do about that one. But again, a good move from the Russians, but I have to say, too easy from a Trinidad and Tobago point of view. Here they are trying to respond immediately. Here's Rampasad, has a strike himself on his weaker left foot. And Mitrushkin able to gather that one. So 2-0, Russia lead. Goals from two defenders, volleys from two defenders, right-footed volleys as well, both on either side of Denzel Smith. Deserved goals, it has to be said. Russia have been the better team from the off. They've been rewarded for their efforts thus far. Moving the ball nicely are the Russians. Here's Vakania with a decent looking ball, but Denzel Smith read the danger. Sergeyev hasn't scored, but he's definitely been a handful for the Trinidad and Tobago defense. Just getting that assist for the Alexander goal. Man who also plays his football in Lokomotiv Moscow. Derek King signaling to his bench. Not sure if he's gonna maybe change up things in this first half. He's not gonna be pleased with what he's seen so far by his team, but there's a lot of quality on the bench as well. As we mentioned, the likes of Judah Garcia, John Paul Rushford, Isaiah Lee, Noah Powder, Daniel David, Ali Kazim Naked. There's a lot of talent on the Trinidad and Tobago bench, amongst others, of course, as Sergeyev is fouled again by Justin Garcia. As I said, he's really been a handful, just getting in the way of everything, drawing fouls, holding up the ball. Miranchuk. Here's Bachakov. He's also had a good start. Lovely skill there from Vakania. Here's this goal scorer, the second goal for Russia, Alexander. Good movement of the ball by the Russians. It's really been an impressive display in these opening 18 minutes, and that's a good ball. Here they are. They're in again, the Russians. Back heel. Well read though by Andrei Rayman. Ball back across. Baveyev is free at the back post. Dinks it across. Good header away from Garcia, but it's really looking too easy for the Russians at the moment. Here's Baveyev again. Well read by Poonan Sharon. Phillips finds Telfer. Can Trinidad and Tobago find a goal here on the counter-attack? It's Ryan Telfer driving at that red wall. Telfer! Oh, and it's just wide. Can you believe it? Well, I expected to see the net bulge there. Ryan Telfer with a golden opportunity to get back a goal for Trinidad and Tobago. The Russian defense didn't know what to do. Oh, and that should be a finish. That should be a goal there from Ryan Telfer. Just didn't get the bend that he wanted maybe, but a man of his quality, and he smiles, but he'll definitely be angry on the inside. But a good response from Trinidad and Tobago nevertheless. Signs of hope early in the first half rather. Ball across and easily dealt with by Denzel Smith. You have to take those opportunities when you come up against these quality teams, because they might not come as much as you want. But that's a lovely ball from Rion Moore. Telfer's in again. Keeper just beats him to it. Much better from Trinidad and Tobago. Ryan Telfer seems to be the man most likely to make something happen. Good work once again from Rampasad. He's worked tirelessly in this first half. Poonanjaran, excellent. Phillips, good work from the Trinidad and Tobago midfield there to keep possession. Here's Kyle Thomas. Back to Phillips, man who plays his football in the EFL League One for Stevenage over in England. Really did impress in the World Cup qualifying campaign, did Daniel Phillips. One of the most consistent players. Ask most Trinidad and Tobago football fans, they'll tell you that Daniel Phillips hardly puts a foot wrong in the Trinidad and Tobago kit. And he started well today. So, slight momentum shift here in the feet of Trinidad and Tobago. 2 chances, a big one from Telfer. Really should have scored. Here's Malik Khan, one of the more exciting players in this setup, hasn't really gotten into the game as yet. Vakanya. Rion Moore, another one of the threatening players in the Trinidad and Tobago attack. I haven't seen much of him, but we just saw him play a lovely ball into Telfer. We need to get him more involved as well. Here's Malik Khan. Oh, lovely skill from the number 10. Here's Poonanjaran. This is much better from Trinidad and Tobago. Oh, that ball just got a deflection on it. Unlucky, it was a good move. Looked promising. One of the criticisms of the Trinidad and Tobago national team versus South Korea was that they didn't really show much fight in that game. Not much to talk about from a Trinidad and Tobago point of view. It was really all South Korea. Of course, South Korea, a team who are preparing for the World Cup themselves. Here's Daniel Phillips. Trinidad and Tobago really looking likely now. Raymond with a decent looking ball in. And Telfer again is the man who seems to be the most threatening for Trinidad and Tobago right now. See, was Poonanjaran there. Russians were hoping for a foul, but referee didn't agree. And led to this. Raymond really does have a good cross on him, doesn't he? That was good defending by Morozov. There's a corner kick for Trinidad and Tobago, their first of the game. Comes in the 23rd minute. It's going to be Kyle Thomas to take this one. Thomas whips it in. It's a decent looking one. Keeper comes and does well. Here's Telfer. And Trinidad and Tobago sustain the pressure on the Russian defense. Ball swung in, but nothing doing there. I think it was Anthony Hubert who got the header, but really, really good response. Derek King is going to be pleased with what he's seeing here from his team. And so are the Trinidad and Tobago fans worldwide. But you really have to look back at that chance from Ryan Telfer. I mean, this game comes down to something like a draw or even a 1-goal deficit. You look at moments like that and think that could have been the difference. And he'll know that, a man of his experience, Ryan Telfer. Morozov finds a nice ball Russians making a move here. Here's Beviev. He's offside. I think that's what the referee called, yeah. Beviev himself didn't look too sure what happened, but definitely is a free kick here for Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, maybe just got a bit eager and leaned beyond the Trinidad and Tobago defensive line. Through in here for the Russians. Beviev, of course, the scorer of the first goal for Russia. Alexander with the second. Here's Krivstov. Unconventional pass, but somehow gets to his teammate. Vakanya. Obliakov with a lovely ball into Beviev, and this could be problems, and just too much on it. But Beviev really involved in this first half. He's been an outlet for the Russians. Of course, scoring the goal as well. Valery Karpin will be aware that Trinidad and Tobago have gained some momentum in this one, and he's going to want to subdue any sort of threat that Trinidad and Tobago can pose in this one. Rampersad heads forward. I think he's had a really good first half as Andre Rampersad. Another one of those players that consistency not questioned by anybody. Once he's in the starting lineup, you can assure yourself that he's going to have a 7 out of 10 performance at least. Not just the captain of Trinidad and Tobago, but he's also the captain of his team over in Canada, the Halifax Wanderers. A testament to the quality of the man. But you have to say Trinidad and Tobago have done pretty well to grow into this one after conceding those 2 goals. But the quality of the Russians, you can't switch off, because they can turn it on at any point in time, as we've seen. Andre Raymond just telling them to calm. There's a lot of time, but again, Trinidad and Tobago are going to have to take all the chances that come their way. Ooh, lovely skill again from Malik Khan. That's the second bit of trickery we've seen from the number 10. Of course, plays his football out in Slovakia for Trenchin. That's a handball there from Rion Moore. Referee plays on. Well, it looked like a handball. The referee didn't agree with me. I guess that's why he gets paid the big bucks and I don't. Here's Batrakov. Decent looking ball as well. It's laid off, but good work. And that's a handball. So when I see it, the referee doesn't call it, but when I don't see it, the referee calls it. So again, I guess I don't have a future career in refereeing, do I? Let's take a look. Yeah, definitely. Ooh, actually, to me it looked like the shoulder. Maybe I do have a career in refereeing. Launched forward. That's well laid off by Telfer. Just not enough on it for Rion Moore. Ryan Telfer really has been involved in this first half. It's been an impressive performance from him. Despite missing the big chance, he's really shown his quality. Obliakov with a lovely ball through, and the Russians are in. Oh, Travella pass, but it's well defended by Herbert, and that's good goalkeeping by Denzel Smith. Game has opened up a lot. It's a pretty exciting one, it has to be said, here in Kaliningrad. Here's Khan. Every time he receives the ball, you just expect to see something spectacular, don't you? Anton Mitrushkin, the locomotive man. Really a solid team of the Russians. You can see the chemistry, the movement, the passing, the understanding between all of them. It's evident the quality that this team possesses, rather. Just look very comfortable in possession. Never seem to panic. They don't give away the ball very easily. It's a lovely ball over the top again. Smith is off his line and good goalkeeping. It was Krivstov who was trying to get on the end of that one. Look at that brilliant ball from the captain, Obliakov. And again, it's the understanding, it's the movement. They just know the runs that their teammates are going to make, don't they? Raymond. Oh, that's overcooked for Rion Moore, who does foul Silyanov Alexander. Rion Moore, of course, was in the goals against Venezuela in Trinidad and Tobago's recent FIFA series game. Unfortunately for Trinidad and Tobago, it was a 4-1 defeat, but Rion Moore was able to score in that one. He is known for scoring some big goals. He also scored in the Hazley Crawford Stadium against the United States of America. Rion Moore. A game that Trinidad and Tobago went on to win, actually. Red card for Serginho Dest and a scorching free kick from Alvin Jones. Seeing Trinidad and Tobago beat the USA 2-1 in that fixture in the Hazley Crawford Stadium in the CONCACAF Nations League. Of course, the US did advance though on aggregate. A massive win and a customary goal against the USA for Alvin Jones. Here's Malik Khan. They really need to get him on the ball more, do Trinidad and Tobago, if they want more of a creative spark. He has that in him. You've seen glimpses of it, even if you didn't know the player from before. He's shown some of his talent in this first half already. Smith launches it forward. Possession given back to the Russians. The game has gone a bit flat. It started off with Russia on the front foot. They got their 2 goals and Trinidad and Tobago responded well, not taking their chances, and now it's just calmed down a bit. Telfer receives possession well into Phillips. It's good hold-up play, and here's Rion Moore. He does foul Vakania again. He's upset with the call by the referee. Rion Moore really wants to get involved. He is that kind of player who'll give you that work rate. I think he's a bit unlucky. Vakania just getting ahead of him. Yeah, maybe just clipped the Russian number 30. That's good work there from Kyle Thomas, who he himself has had a pretty good first half. Here's Khan. Plays it into Moore. Back to Khan. And he's fouled. Now starting to get on the ball a bit more is Malik Khan. See the quality that he possesses. It's a cheap giveaway again from Trinidad and Tobago. Here's Miranchuk. Good work from Phillips. Poon. Hubert keeps possession nicely. Here's Justin Garcia to Raymond. Back to Garcia. And again, all the way back to Denzel Smith. Justin Garcia, along with Rion Moore, playing their football in Vietnam. A team that really a difficult one to pronounce. I'll get to that eventually. As Ryan Telfer is fouled. And some good mature play from Trinidad and Tobago. And a free kick in a relatively dangerous position as well. It's Kyle Thomas, who I don't think has really put a foot wrong in this first half. So, going to attempt to name the team that Justin Garcia and Rion Moore play for in Vietnam. It's pronounced Som Lam Nugai An. That's the one and only time I'm probably going to say this throughout the broadcast, because it is a difficult one. But just for the educational factor, that's where they play their football. So it is Ryan Telfer The Halifax Wanderers, man, who's going to stand over this one for Trinidad and Tobago. Can he deliver quality ball to lead to Trinidad and Tobago goal? Telfer whips it in. It's decent back post and just over the very tall Anthony Hubert. Ryan Thomas applauds his teammate and calls them back. Derek King with a smirk on his face. He'll be pleased with the way that his team have responded, and that man there really looks to be the bright spark. The Russian fans are still pleased. Of course, they still lead 2-0. Let's not forget that. But from a Trinidad and Tobago point of view, it really hasn't been such a bad performance in the past 15 minutes. That one launched forward. Well read again by Raymond, and here's Khan. Pulls up possession nicely. Was fouled, so drew the foul. Really good work from Khan again. I don't think he himself has lost the ball in the first half. It's been a very good performance from him every time he's gotten on the ball, Malik Khan. Quality shines through. The Trent Sheen man. Raymond decides to go all the way back to Garcia. Poonanjaran, he himself has had a very industrious performance so far, as he normally does. Here's Rampasad. Back to Raymond. Andre to Andre. And a throw in for the Russians. Of course, Andre Raymond plays his football over in Finland, Tampereen Eels. A man who did attend Naparima College, started off in Trinity College East in Trinidad and Tobago, but the Russians are back in again. Sergeyev. It was Garcia back doing the defending. And that's the threat of the Russians. Game has gone flat, but immediately they could turn it on with just some quick passing. This time it's good defending from Garcia and Herbert. And it is a corner kick for the Russians, something they haven't had in a long time. Batrakov. He is back on the ball. Whips it. Oh, that's a decent looking ball. Back post, flicked on. The defending from Trinidad and Tobago. Here's Beveev. Everybody back behind the ball there for Trinidad and Tobago. Beveev whips it in. Sergeyev is in. Oh, and tell you what, that could have been problems. Here's Rampasad. He read the danger well. Rion Moore holds it up nicely. Lovely skill from Rion Moore into Telfer. It's good defending again from the Russians. Just misplaced his pass slightly there, did Moore. Maybe held onto the ball a bit too long as well. Rampasad. A vital interception there in that passage of play from the Russians. Good ball. Here's Batrakov. Again looking to cross it, but well blocked by Garcia. Cleared this time. Moore, good hold up play from him, and he's dragged down. So surely that should be a yellow card, no? Here's the captain, Obliakov. Just pulling down Rion Moore. His hold up play has been really good. Just a tug on the back of the jersey there. Poonanjaran, who turns badly, and this could be problems. Here's Sergeyev. Miranchuk onto his left foot, looking for the angle. Miranchuk still hasn't struck it. Look for the pass, and good defending from Trinidad and Tobago. Phillips. Possession back with the Russians. Batrakov. Goes all the way back to Alexander. Again, Trinidad and Tobago looking a bit frail defensively. Russians have been able to get in behind easily on many occasions in this first half. It's definitely something that Derek King is going to have to address at halftime. Just about 6 minutes away from that. Here's Khan. Goes on nicely again, Malik Khan, but he's surrounded by two Russian jerseys and does lose out. Not much he could have done there, to be honest. Is Morozov out wide to Bevev. Seems like ages ago since he scored that first goal. As we're into the 40th minute of first half action here in the Rustic Arena in Kaliningrad, Russia. This international friendly between Russia and Trinidad and Tobago. And here the Russians again. Garcia misses it. Raymond somehow clears it. Kept in well by Vakania. Decent ball into Miranchuk, but couldn't control. And again, that's just the signs of the quality of this Russian team. Valery Karpin, though he does have a 2-0 lead, I think he's going to be actually pretty disappointed that they weren't able to score more, the Russians. They really have created a lot going forward. More fouled by Krivstov. Nikita Krivstov. Leon Moore not pleased with the referee. He thinks that should have been more than just a foul, maybe a yellow card. He thought that Krivstov went through the back of Leon Moore with his elbow. Does have a case there, to be honest. Alpha holds it up nicely, but no support. Veev launches that one forward. Batrakov. So well intercepted by Poonanjaran. Can Trinidad and Tobago find a goal before halftime? Poonanjaran drives it low. Decent delivery. Maybe just lacked some venom. But it's good work from Poonanjaran. Say brought back into the national team in that South Korea game. He's been kept in the squad. Derek King definitely seems to be pleased with his performances. And he's put in a good one in this first half here. Here's Phillips. Holding on nicely. He's very strong as Daniel Phillips. Eventually, it's a throw-in for Russia. He's a very physical player as Daniel Phillips and needs to be. Plays his football in the League One in England in Stevenage. We know the physicality of that kind of league, so it's not surprising that he has that aspect of his game in his game. Raymond. Back to Garcia. Back to Smith. Rampasad. It's good ball movement here from Trinidad and Tobago. Here's Raymond. Gives it away. Batrakov really has been pulling a lot of the strings in that Russian midfield. The number 7, Alexei Batrakov, alongside Alexei Miranchuk. They have been playing some top-level football. Kanya into Miranchuk. Miranchuk squaring up on his left foot and deflected there by Justin Garcia. Not pleased with something. It's good defending from the number 17 regardless. Ball out wide, I think. Maybe they were complaining it was a bit easy from Rampasad. I'm not sure. Miranchuk did cut onto that left foot pretty comfortably. Much stronger left foot of his. He's been passing all day. Decided to take the strike this time. And it's led to a corner kick for Russia. Deep in the first half. Ball swung in. Beats everybody. And out for a goal kick for Trinidad and Tobago. Did go into the first half, or half-time rather, 2-0 down against South Korea, did Trinidad and Tobago. 2 goals from Heung-Min Son, the former Tottenham Hotspur man, Europa League winner with Tottenham Hotspur. Smith launches it forward. Khan couldn't control. This time he does. Lovely skill from Ali Khan and a decent passer as well. Garcia does well and recycles possession back to his goalkeeper. Here's Hubert. Finds Poon. Ball out wide into Thomas, but again, Russians win possession. Here's Miranchuk. Ball through. Beveev tries to cut it back. Problems here for Trinidad and Tobago, and cleared away by Garcia. Here's Phillips. Just out 15 seconds away. Oh, and problems there. Daniel Phillips retaliating, and he's going to be booked as well for his retaliation. Krivstov had a hold of the Trinidad and Tobago number 8 and retaliated. He's counting all the times that he's been fouled by Krivstov. Yeah, that's definitely a yellow card offense, but Phillips, man of his experience, really shouldn't be reacting in that way. It's an unnecessary yellow card. A bit comical, it has to be said, but really Daniel Phillips should know better. Playing in the position that he does, a second yellow would lead to a red, but Krivstov definitely getting under his skin. So both players booked. Miranchuk, not sure what he has to say in the ears of the referee nevertheless. There's a confirmation of Krivstov being booked. Daniel Phillips just apologizing. At the end of the day, it is an international friendly, but we know that that word means nothing in the game of football. And that is the end of the first half. That man on your screen there, or previously Beveev, giving Russia the lead, and of course Silianov Alexander giving Russia the 2-0 lead in the 7th and 15th minute respectively. Russia lead Trinidad and Tobago 2-0 here in the Kaliningrad, Russia, at the Rostec Arena. Phillips is still complaining to the referee. I'm not quite sure, but no complaints from the Russians at all, as they have a very comfortable 2-0 lead here in the Rostec Arena. So that's all for the first half. We're going to take a break and we'll be back with you in a bit. So of course some of the highlights from the first half as well. It was very eventful. Miranchuk involved, as we've been saying, that one coming across, and a massive save from Denzel Smith, his second of the first half. But Miranchuk really has been involved. It was a lovely ball across from Saduleyev with front three linking up, and Sergeyev just couldn't finish. And this was the first goal here for the Russians. Beveev just free on top of the penalty area, striking that one past Denzel Smith, who will be upset with himself, but it just skid off of the wet surface here in Kaliningrad. And Karpin was in his element early on, or at least so you would think. Denzel Smith quite the opposite. And the Russians kept knocking on the door with some very intricate passes. This one across to Sergeyev, who held it up nicely and laid it off for Silianov Alexander, who smashed it home. A similar finish from closer range and on the opposite side of the keeper as well, but the same result, and it was 2-0 for the Russians at that point in time. And that's where we stand. The Russians lead 2-0 here in the Rostec Arena against Trinidad and Tobago. At halftime, it is Russia 2, Trinidad and Tobago 0.